Minister said there would only be pipelines if there was consensus. As it turns out, BC's Premier has said no. Several Liberal MPs are opposed, and even within the Prime Minister's own head there seems to be opposition, because on the one hand he says, yes, we're going to go ahead and become the energy superpower, and on the other hand he says, no, oil needs to stay in the ground. The Prime Minister clearly has no plan to get things done, so why is he putting his elbows down and making us beholden to the United States of America?
Here, here.
The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, what we saw on Monday were 13 provinces and territories working together to build the strongest economy in the G7. The premiers and the government are focused on building a strong Canadian economy. What we see from my colleagues across the floor are attempts to divide and to block development. I hope Conservatives will join with us in building a strong Canada.
The Honourable Member for Lethbridge.
That is the type of non-answer that has become accustomed to these Liberals. Grand gestures, meetings and press conferences will not get things done, even though the Prime Minister seems to believe that's the case. But what would move things forward, of course, is a plan to scrap Bill C-69, the No New Pipelines Act, a plan to scrap Bill C-48, a plan to scrap the job-killing oil and gas cap that exists. The industrial carbon tax, let's get rid of that as well. Is the Prime Minister simply turning a blind eye to these things, or does he just not know how to get things done?
The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
If my honourable colleague was listening to what happened in Saskatoon, the premiers and the Prime Minister have a plan to fast-track projects, to get projects done within 2 years, and to build the strongest economy in the G7. Why don't you guys get on? Why don't my colleagues get on board?
The Honourable Member for Central Newfoundland.
Mr. Speaker, no consensus. That's reality this week on getting Western oil and gas to Tidewater. There is consensus in Newfoundland and Labrador today, where the VOCM poll shows 74% agree that the Liberal oil and gas cap is an investment killer. No pipelines are required to get Newfoundland and Labrador's 2.5 billion barrels of oil to world markets, or its 12.5 trillion cubic feet of gas to Tidewater. It's already there. So will the Prime Minister put his money where his mouth is and get rid of his investment-killing cap and bring prosperity back to the Atlantic Canadian oil and gas patch?
The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
We will build and protect our economy from American tariffs and win the trade war. But to find new markets for Canadian energy, emissions in every barrel of oil must be reduced. Serious investment in carbon capture must happen. We will build the strongest low-cost, low-risk, low-carbon economy in the G7.
The Honourable Member for Regina Louvain.
That sounds like a hard no to me. Saskatchewan people want to build pipelines. To secure and grow Canada's economy, we must develop a world-class energy sector. The anti-energy NDP Premier BC has stated there will be no new pipelines in BC. Anti-development extremists in the Prime Minister's cabinet have dedicated their careers to keeping Canadian oil and gas in the ground, like the Heritage Minister, like the Environment Minister. If this Prime Minister can't get consensus within his own cabinet, how will we ever get a pipeline built in our country?
The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
Again, I would say they need to go, my honourable colleagues need to look at the tapes. The Premier of Saskatchewan was supportive. The Premier of Alberta was supportive. The representative from British Columbia was supportive. Why can't our colleagues get supportive and help us build the strongest economy in the G7?
The Honourable Member for Medicine Hat, Cardston Warner.
The Prime Minister and his Energy Minister say there will be no pipelines without a consensus, but buzzwords don't build pipelines. How is consensus realistic when the BC's NDP Premier has already ruled out a new pipeline? There's currently no proponent for an eastern pipeline, and the Prime Minister himself calls for Canada to be an energy superpower one day, and the next day insists that half the other reserves need to stay in the ground. Half of the PM's own cabinet wanted to see Canada's oil industries die and spent the past decade trying to kill it. If the Prime Minister can't find consensus within his own cabinet, how does he plan to approve a pipeline?
Exactly.
The Honourable Minister of Energy and Natural Resources.
Again, we've answered this question. Trudeau said it was the best meeting he has been to as a premier, best First Minister meeting. Premier Smith said it was we have an opportunity for a grand bargain. Why don't you help us get to the grand bargain?
I'll remind the honourable minister to go through the chair.